I played chess in, I think, the most beautiful place I've ever played chess in. I was playing a blitz tournament in an aquarium in Aalesund, Norway. And this is something I've never done in my life. The tournament was called the Kongsberg Maritime Chess Festival, and it was played in the Atlanterhavsparken Aquarium in Aalesund, which is a beautiful city. I mean, I'm going to insert a clip here so you can see just how stunning it is. Well, this was a blitz tournament with some of Norway's strongest players and a bunch of other people, and I really wanted to go there to see what it was all about, but it was such a cool experience. The first 2 games I won quite convincingly, but then in round number 3, I was facing one of Norway's strongest chess players, Aryan Tari. He's a grandmaster who's currently ranked number 3 in Norway, which, considering you have Magnus Carlsen being ranked number 1, is very high. He's also top 100 in the whole world, and right now he has a rating of around 2640, I think. So he's a very strong player, and I knew that this was going to be very difficult, but I wanted to give it the best shot I could give it. So you can see this fish is swimming around in the background, and before the game, me and Aryan were talking a little bit. We were basically talking about how it's going to be to play chess with all these fishes staring at us whilst we're playing. And then after a little bit of time, the arbiter said it was time for us to start the clocks, and so we did. So he started with the move e4, and I went c5. He brought out his knight, and I brought out my knight, and I knew this was going to be like a sort of Grand Prix Sicilian, which is what it's called when they push that pawn. But now he played bishop b5 instead of bishop c4, which is what I know better. And so here I was a little bit confused, because I kind of forgot what it was that I was supposed to play. And I went e6, which is apparently a huge mistake. And Aryan after the game was like, Anna, never, ever, ever again go e6. And I was like, okay. But I did. He took my knight. And now the point is that I need to make a decision on what I'm going to take with. I took with the d pawn, but I quickly realized that I now had an issue because he was going to get a fantastic knight to d6. So you can see that now my plan is to bring out my knight, but I was really afraid that he would stop me from castling, or I would lose a pawn or something. But I realized here that there wasn't much more for me to do than just simply get my pieces out. Now I also want to apologize that our faces are a little bit, the image of us is a little bit dark, but the fishes took all the attention of the camera. Anyways, I castled and he castled, and I was really happy that he didn't take my pawn, although I assumed that he didn't do it because he wanted to make sure that he had a lot of activity and it would slow his activity down to take that pawn. So at least I figured that I was able to save the pawn, but my position was not good at all. My position was kind of crumbling. He went queen e1, but I was very determined that even if this position didn't look any good, I was going to do my very best to play as good of a game as I could. So I felt confident. I went to h5 to prevent g4. He pushed his pawn 1 step, and the plan was clear. He was gonna develop his bishop. He was playing very fast and very confidently, and I wasn't sure what my plan was going to be. I decided to go a5 with the idea of going a4, but I still didn't really know what my long-term plan was. I decided to go bishop a6 simply to get my bishop out, and now after he brought out his bishop, I once again had to figure out what my long-term idea is going to be. So I decided that I probably needed to find a better square for my rook, so I brought out my queen. I was also defending now the c5 pawn so that if I push my b pawn, that pawn is protected. He went h3 just to maybe play g4 soon, and my knight didn't really have a lot of places to go to, so I realized that I had to bring a rook to the center of the board to be able to maybe support a push to d4 with my knight. I was thinking maybe of going knight d4. I was actually not really distracted by the fishes in the background, but this was just such a cool experience too. I mean, now to just see them roaming around, it's hilarious. But yeah, he went g4 and we traded pawns, and I now had to decide where to go with my knight. I was briefly thinking about going knight h6, but I thought a knight is supposed to be in the center. So to the center it shall go. So I brought my knight to the center, and I was now threatening to take that pawn on c2. So here he defended by going queen f2, and now my h file, it's open. Everything is open. It does look right now like it's a kind of impossible position, but let me tell you this, it was not an impossible position. And I may actually have had some knight take c2 sacrifice before, I'm not sure. But because I could go bishop takes d3, but I don't really think so, because I think he has some knight f6 in between. I don't know. But anyways, I decided here to go c4 because I really wanted to open up the position. I realized that I had no other plans, and if I don't sacrifice this pawn and try to get some activity, I'm going to get steamrolled. I'm going to get destroyed against this very strong Grandmaster. So I just quickly realized that no, Anna, you just gotta go for it, and you just gotta sacrifice a pawn, not a piece. A piece would be too much, but a pawn. I went here c5 because I wanted to open up the diagonal for my bishop. Now at least it felt like my bishop had some purpose in this life. So the king went up to g2, and his plan was very simple. He wanted to go rook h1, queen h3, and try to checkmate me. Although I wasn't exactly sure where the checkmate was, but I realized that there could be checkmates, and I definitely had to try to prevent them. So I started thinking here, and I only had at this point 15 seconds left. I mean, he has 2 minutes 22. It looks like I'm getting completely steamrolled, but like I said, things are about to turn around, because very soon things were not going to look as clear as they look now. So I brought my 2 rooks into the middle, and let me tell you this, Aryan ended up the game with quite little time. So even though he has 2 minutes here and I have 7 seconds, from this point forward, Aryan Tari is going to be thinking a lot. I went rook d4 here, sacrificing my rook because I quickly realized that I had to sacrifice my exchange if I was going to get any counterplay with that bishop. And now it was time for me to start playing on the other side of the board. It was time for me to try to get a past a pawn. So now I realized, Anna, just go on intuition, play your best chess, and just be active. I took that pawn on a4, and I could tell from Aryan's body language that he was liking his position less and less. He couldn't find an immediate way of checkmating me, and now things were not looking as clear as before, even if the engine is still saying that Aryan's position is very good. Of course, he's still material up. However, on a practical level in a blitz game, I felt way better right now. I didn't feel as suffocated as I felt a little while before. I was waiting for some of these fishes to stop and look at my position, but they seemed to be more interested in other things. So here I was threatening to take the pawn on c2, and he was thinking for a very long time now, because he had to figure out what he was gonna do. Was he gonna stop me from taking that pawn on c2? What was he going to do? He went with his rook to h2, so now he was playing a little bit more passively. I brought my queen back because now my plan was to start pushing that a pawn, and he was soon going to be under a minute in his time. He was trying to come up with what way he could, well, try to checkmate me, or what his plan was going to be. But it felt like at this position he started playing a little bit more passively, and he was playing a little bit on a whole different plan than before. So now he went c3. For a quick second I thought that my rook was trapped, but it wasn't. Here we were able to trade, and now I decided that I should go bishop f8 because I didn't want to lose my pawn. You see, I was scared that he was going to be able to just go for that move, but for that to be a check. So I went king g7. Everything was protected right now. He couldn't move his rook because then I'd take his d3 pawn. I pushed b5, and now he took, and I took, and I wanted to activate my bishop. Queen b3. And now this move was perhaps not the best. Maybe I should have gone c4 to be able to get my bishop out. But here I pushed my pawn. I could also try to go for some queen b1 to start checking on the other side. And now I was trying to get some kind of perpetual checks. He brought his queen all the way back. I checked him again, but now there were no more checks. And now I realized that I was getting checkmated after rook h8 and queen h7. So here, this ended up becoming a checkmate and I lost the game, but at least he finished the game with only 15 seconds. And he told me that I'd played really well and that it was good for me to go for all of those sacrifices and that he thought he was going to have a checkmate. So we were speaking actually right now in Swedish and Norwegian, I think. But yeah, he was just telling me that he thought I played really well and that he definitely was stressed and he thought I got some great counter chances. So he was thinking about also some different moves that I could do. He was also telling me what I should have done and what I shouldn't have done. But it was really fun to get a compliment from such a strong player. And he ended up winning the tournament and winning all his games, including against other grandmasters. He went 9 out of 9. So I'm not too upset that I lost this game against Aryan Tari. This was actually quite a good game for me against him. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing how it went for me against Norway's number 3 player, very strong player, Grandmaster Aryan Tari. I'm also going to be making a vlog of my experience in the city because it was so cool. So let me know if you want to see the vlog. Thank you so much for watching and have a beautiful day.